And welcome back to episode 10. Who would have thunk it, of Coaches and Coffee? Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You think we're going to get to 20?
Well, maybe.
Probably a lot of people in the psychiatric ward listening then.
Well, I mean, I know you haven't seen it yet, Wizard, because you don't Google search the right thing. You need to, up there where you are, you need to Google search L'Enregistré de Caledonian. That's the French version of the Caledonian record.
Yeah. You researched that yourself.
No, I just made it up. But you got to look it up, Wizard, because we're big time.
Oh, Jesus.
We're in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that picture of the three of us, made the front page of the sports section.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fodder for the outhouse is all I can see it as.
Well, it's digital. It's hard to wipe yourself with digital.
Don't give him any ideas.
I know, out there with his iPhone and his butt crack.
I'm sure our listeners are appreciating that image this morning.
Yep.
Wizard, I got to tell you, though, did you read the article?
Bits and pieces. I read the last of it.
That was the best part.
And I don't even remember what it said.
Did you see how you were credited for the name of the podcast?
He was.
And not only that, you were called Steve, and I had to think about who that was.
I did not call it. Just so you know, when I was talking with the editor, I did not refer to either one of you as Russ or Steve. I referred to you as the Wizard and Professor.
Oh, okay. So that was
Mike knows me, so
yes. No, Mike is a good guy.
Yeah.
He was actually going on a road trip the next day, I think, and he said he hadn't listened to any podcasts, and I told him he wasn't missing much, but he said he was going to listen to him on his road trip. I'm like, okay, well, try to stay awake while you're driving.
Yeah.
He probably thought I had turned the shit and the hogs ate me, but
you resurfaced.
We love giving everybody crap, but we spent that whole episode on love making with Corey because we kissed his butt for a whole thing. But in fairness, man, the people that cover our kids up around here are amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Caledonia, NSN, Can you imagine, back when we started coaching, thinking that we would have a camera crew come to our gyms with 2 cameras and replays, and some of the, we got to be nice to some of the guys that are doing the broadcast. Some of the greatest broadcasters of all time, like the Johnny Most of the Northeast. Isn't it pretty amazing? How much good coverage we actually get for the kids?
It's crazy. To think about.
The Wizard said, no, we don't want to be negative today. So let's be positive about how great these guys are that cover all of our kids.
No, the kids are definitely lucky. I mean, some of our games back in the day, VHS, maybe you guys had it on some other microfiche or something like that. But, the kids are definitely rewarded. And, I remember when Michael came and worked, at the local newspaper here in Littleton for a while. Became good friends with him, and he, similar to Corey, had tremendous coverage for our kids. And yeah, we were spoiled, definitely spoiled.
It's getting right in deep with the smooches, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's still coaching.
Yeah, getting that chin right in there.
Listen, I don't know if it improves our coverage at all. I don't necessarily think that. Remember, we are Division IV girls basketball.
We have to remind you. You're so used to being D2 that it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like he just does it. This is the new thing. It's like dealing with a petulant child. We say that now, and he doesn't say anything anymore. He's if I just ignore them, will it go by? No, it won't. We're on episode 10, and we've made some reference to Division 2 or 1 every episode, and I have a feeling it's going to continue.
Yes.
Yeah. What?
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah. Hoya.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's throw it to you, Wizard, and kick it off with your normal story of the week or something that you came up with.
Well, So I was going to press my don't give a shit button this week with my monologue, but I decided I'd let one of y'all do it and I won't even mention what I was going to piss and moan about unless you guys don't talk about it. But on this date in history, in 1965, Bob Dylan walked on the stage and played an electric guitar for the first time. Where? I don't give a shit. But my point being is that, it spawned an age of people like Jimi Hendrix, Mark Knopfler, Carlos Santana, and just a litany of other guitarists that have been in the forefront of the entertainment era of rock and roll. And so I commend Bob Dylan on him walking on the stage and having courage enough to do that, even though I don't think he was really a great guitarist. It started an era.
Every Saturday we get a history lesson, and I love it.
Yeah, and you're preaching to the choir there. I did name my daughter after him, so that's pretty good information right there. I'm gonna go, since you just mentioned the greatest songwriter of all time. My monologue is gonna be about the greatest of all times, and I just want you guys to know that we watched Messi in the greatest player of all time, in the greatest World Cup of all time. I've been watching the Tour de France, and the greatest cyclist, Poggi, as he's named, is currently riding in that, and he's going to win his fourth whatever. LeBron James just transferred over to the Philadelphia 76ers to become the greatest of all time. And what I want to say because our greatest of all time today is going to be, I won't give it up yet, but I am not going to talk about somebody that played today. The greatest of all time didn't always just happen today. The greatest of all time might be of all time, not of this week. That's my monologue.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
Prior to the greatest of all time being what happened yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, some foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Well, no, if you must have been sitting on my shoulder this week.
Oh yeah, you were thinking about the same for the greatest of all time. Yeah.
I'm not going to give it away.
Jeez, yep. Now I'm wondering what the Wizard, was hoping that one of us might touch on, because I'm pretty sure.
No, he mentioned douchebag's name, so that's fine.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, my monologue it's not funny in any way, shape, or form. But like I told you guys, I always come with one or two, and I didn't think you guys would steal this one. But this week, an Oakland A's baseball infielder, I think, I could be wrong, but I think for the first time, a player has gone on the injured list because of a ruptured testicle. And did you see this?
John Kruk had testicle surgery when he was playing at one of it. I believe when he was playing.
Oh, well, in looking and reading the story, so the batter finished his at bat. He actually singled in that at bat. He finished that half inning. He came out the next half inning. He hit his first career home run earlier that night, and I think something like 25 games or so, he was batting over 400. So hopefully the testicle doesn't set him back too far, because he was having a good rookie season. But you see that. I mean, I don't even know how you would list that on the injury. I mean, I know how you'd list it, but are they going to list it as testicle? Anyways, that's my monologue.
I didn't, not having an affinity to those kind of articles that I know that you tend to peruse. Did it happen during the game, or was it like you're batting 400, you just hit your first home run, and it happened after the game?
No, he fouled the ball right off his groin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No. This was legit. But he, like I said, he finished the at bat. He got a single.
Well, I wonder if he was wearing a cup, what he would have
Well, that's the question. Who knows? I didn't check.
Huh?
You
I
didn't
thought you
sniff that
checked
one out?
before every game.
No, you remember, like, I'm sure your baseball coaches, used to check.
Yeah.
They used to take the bat and just make sure there was
Or the
something there.
backside of their hand.
Or the bat, yeah, make sure that, yeah.
Boy, things that we don't do nowadays.
Yeah,
Old school coaching.
we would go from the front page of the sports section to the front page of the paper.
Yeah.
So, Professor, you want to introduce the topic?
Well, no, I've got my normal corrections and listener input that we.
Oh yeah, you normally start with that, but
Well, you guys jumped right into other stuff, and we got all caught up in the newspaper.
yeah, no.
Which, by the way, like, what happens if we become such big time now that, like, you know what I hate about podcasts is that then they become bigger and then they go onto video, and all you do is you got like Joe Rogan's fat head talking on camera on a podcast.
What are we gonna? Want my fat head on there because you wouldn't be able to see anything.
Like, what screen are we gonna get for the three of us?
It's gonna have to be a big one.
Yeah, like everybody's gonna have to watch this like on an 80-inch screen. But if we get that big, like, do we do like here's the reference drop. Do we have to do like Milli Vanilli and get like 3 really good looking young people to be and they'll just lip sync? What are we going to do?
I don't know. I mean, that's so far down the road. I mean, maybe it's sooner than we think, but
I don't think
I choose Gerardo.
Yeah, Gerardo as you. Yeah. Oh my God. That goes back to like the naming of our podcasts when it organically became Coaches and Coffee, and I had suggested Hooligans Island with the captain, the professor, and Marianne. And Mags is like, I'm not being Marianne. You want to be Gerardo.
No, Jeannie's better than Marianne.
Yeah. No, wait, that was it Jeannie?
I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about the other one on Gilligan's Island, but old references. Corrections. Or throw-ins to our discussion. My very good friend who's sponsoring my headset, which hasn't come until Monday, as she said, Amazon shows up like in a day. I'm like, not around here. She was hoping that maybe this week we would have the greatest military maneuvers of the 20th century.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I said, just don't suggest that because the wizard might actually use that as one.
No. We'll wait until my next.
Yeah.
He might need that in the next couple of days.
And then our very faithful listener, Fred, he suggested that he didn't know Native American chiefs really well, but Chimney Rock out in Nebraska was originally named by a Lakota Sioux chief, and he wants that to be his chief because it was originally called Elk Penis. So he said whoever named that, and if you actually go and Google search Chimney Rock in Nebraska, you can understand how actually intelligent that chief was. So those are my corrections, and I don't even know what we were supposed to do after this, so why don't you introduce whatever we're doing?
Oh, well, one of our listeners had reached out to you this week, and we talked about practices. Now you know where we're going. We're talking about practice.
I remember, but you can keep going.
Okay. So the listener asked us, how we deal with discipline, and do bad coaches, do good coaches, do it better than the other? How do parents influence discipline? So that's the topic that we're going to use today.
I want the wizard to roll here on this one because he was
the problem now, and I think I've said it before. I do not envy coaches in this information age. I mean, it was really getting going, but I mean, most of the stuff, I don't even know what the shit is, and I don't have Facebook and things like that. So, I would say outside issues are probably going to be the most difficult to deal with, just because of the information age, and AI. I mean, I've seen pictures of two guys who were standing next to a military monument, and then the next thing they're friggin' Ramba dancing together, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And somebody had taken their photo and turned it into a dance lesson or whatever. So I don't envy anybody dealing with that shit. So, but I mean, as far as on the court and things like that, it's kind of like a parent and a child. You deal with it then. You're going to have a seat, and then we'll discuss it in one-on-one, or we'll discuss it at practice with some cardio exercise. And what, as coaches, we're like anybody else. We beg, borrow, and steal anything we can from others. And I stole a lot from a longtime boys coach, because he had specific things when he was dealing with players, and he had certain players with their name, and he would say leap time, this is time he's spending with them. And so I stole a little bit of that, and if there was really something that needed to be addressed, you stayed after practice a little bit and did a little extra. But other than that, I mean, 8-6-4-2s were a great punitive action.
Me?
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say that I signed a contract one time for coaching, and in that contract, because I read the whole thing, because you're better when you're dealing with things nowadays, it said no use of electrocution devices. No, I'm not kidding. And I was like, oh. So I went to the AD and I was like, what's that mean? And he goes, I think like cattle prods or like shock collars. And I said to myself, wait, so that actually got used at some point, and somebody decided that maybe they should put that in the contract.
Yeah, it's in there because it was used. You're right.
So you young coaches, if it's not in your contract, I think it's probably okay. Like, if you're having trouble with kids at practice, a shock collar I think would go a long way. So just get like 3 or 4, and just make sure that nowadays there's cameras in almost every gym. Just make sure that the cameras aren't on when you're using the shock collars. I think back to a moment in my coaching history against the Wizard when one of my players and one of our favorite human beings decided while the camera and the action wasn't in the forecourt, in the backcourt, she would elbow one of the Wizards players. And I remember going into practice because I didn't know what happened. Like, I don't think it was on MSN, or if it was, and I found out, and I don't think it was from the Wizard that I found out, but
no. You did not find out.
But I was furious because that kind of action is one of those actions that I do believe discipline is necessary. And I said to her the next practice, I said, did this happen? And she looked at me and went, yes. And I said, why? And she didn't look at me again. And we ran, and the whole team ran, and then she ran. And it's one of those ones where you just say to them, this can't happen, and there has to be some way that we let you guys know that this can't happen, because you embarrassed your team, you embarrassed me, and you put a kid in jeopardy that was one of the best basketball players in the state. And I think that point got really well established because, later on she learned never to do something like that again, and understood that embarrassment for the team isn't something. And I'll ask the Wizard this, but as you served, what was the core values of the? I can't remember. I seriously can't remember. It's like God, country. What is it?
Family, God, country.
Yeah, and for me, we talked about this before. Family. That's all of us. And I always used to say when I would go to these practices, I had that written down. I just couldn't remember what it was. I would always say me, family, God, country, and family being team. And I said, when you embarrass me, you embarrass all of us. So don't do that again. And I hate having to hand out punitive actions. But
oh God, yeah.
There are some times when you just can't tolerate that kind of stuff. Yeah. The other stuff that you were talking about before, Wizard, like the stuff we can't control out, if you have your team under control, and I don't mean under your thumb pushing down on it, but if you say, guys, this is the most important thing we're going to do for the next 3 months, and you have to respect each other, and you're a good coach, it's pretty amazing how little I think we deal with discipline.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Today, the Wizard talked about the information age, and kids are Snapchatting and Instagram, and of course the TikToks. But one of the things that we try to establish from the beginning of the season is, whether you guys are friends outside of the court, that doesn't matter to us. When you're on the court and you're in the presence of each other off the court, like we demand respect for each other. It's one of the ways that you're going to be successful is, you're willing to go to battle with each other and accept each other's role and so forth. But back to discipline, that example that you gave, Professor, is one that I remember you guys sharing with me. I definitely didn't know. Obviously, we didn't have a camera crew up there, and I wasn't scouting that game apparently. So, I think
who drives all the way to Canada to scout? But go ahead.
Castle, remember this. I did do that one time. I came up to watch one of his games because I thought it was going to impact a playoff seeding, and all I remember having was a nice bag of popcorn that night because the game was over at the end of the first quarter, and I drove up there and then drove home.
And we put down all that extra plastic seating.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah. Now they got new bleachers. That's probably slippery on those plastic bleachers.
Well, they can spray it off with a fire hose after you leave.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. See, that's innovation right there. All right, so back to discipline. And I don't think any one of the players that I've ever coached intentionally tried to cause harm to another player. But I would be furious as well because the kids are a reflection of you. And question would be, like, if they did that as an adult, like, what's the consequence in life? It's not running suicides or any of that. It's a lot more serious.
Simple assault.
Yeah, so I think when we talk many times on our podcast about teaching life lessons, like, that's one. And one thing I think we were all one thing I think we all thought was important was being on time. And that's still today. If a kid is 3 minutes late to practice, then the kids run for 3 minutes, except for the kid that was late. They stand there and watch their teammates run for them being late. So I know, Professor, from chatting with you, you had a couple different discipline with captains and versus players, specific players, but that's just an example of what we currently do now. Is if you're late, then the team runs, and then hopefully we set a example and you remember that you were late and what your teammates had to do because you were late. So
right.
Yeah, you referenced that, and I was going to say that's one of the ones that I always get in trouble for was I very rarely punished an entire team. Most of the time, unless it was one of my captains, most of the time, anybody that was late, I just had my captains run. Mm-hmm. And when you realize that you're making your captains run because of something that you've chosen to do to take away from the time, it really sets a precedent for those kids.
I would swear you were in the military before.
But I think, and you guys can speak for yourself, it usually happens one time.
Correct.
And so when people criticize us in a different, way, whether it's privately, publicly, who gives a crap, it works, that they don't want to do that again because they remember it. And I mean, geez, when you're younger and you put your friggin' hand on the stove and you burn your, like, You don't do it again. Well, most people don't do it again.
Yeah. I remember when I first met you that both your right and your left hand were singed.
Yeah, together. But no, I think discipline, it has to be part of your standards. And if you're not willing to hold your best player to the same standard as player number 10, I won't say 12 or 13 because you guys don't have that many players. I get
Not
it.
a D4.
Yeah. But if the standards and the expectations have to apply to all, and one thing that we're huge on, and I think all schools should be huge on. I know the state association requires kids to pass classes, but they have this rule that like you can fail one class and be put on probation. No, not with us. Like if you're not passing all your classes, and that's today. In today's world, in today's education system, passing all your class, you have to try really hard not to pass. So they don't play. They can practice, but they don't play until they're passing all their classes. And that's just another form of discipline that academics has to come first.
Yeah.
You didn't sound so excited with that.
No, no, it's just so annoying, the education side of it, because, I mean, realistically, it sucks that you have to be involved in it. It should be, to me, the principal should say, bring this person in, say, look, you're not passing. You can't play, instead of that, trickling down to the coach, because, some of them, sorry, son of a bitch comes in and he's not in the school, or she are not in the school all day long. They don't see all the grades. They don't know what kind of students they are away from the game per se, academically. And then they come in and they have to tell this kid, you know what, you're off the team until, you get your grades up. And, I always hated that. And, you tried to implement things of, okay, bring your report cards, let me see them. And I had honor students, a lot of honor students, and didn't really have to deal with it, thank goodness, for grades at all. I mean, in 16 years, I really didn't have to deal with it much at all. So I was very pleased about that. But, I hated it because of the fact that I wasn't in the school. So now I guess coaches can look at their grades on a regular basis. They have this page where they can see how students are doing. So, that's the new age.
Yeah, I'm not going to continue on the education. I want to come back to something Mags had said too, and that was about, it happens once. And I was thinking about the story that I shared, that could have gone a lot of different ways. And I know that parents don't like when we discipline, and parents have their own ways and stuff like that. But we have to deal with what we have to deal with on the court or in practice at the time. And like Mag said, usually it happens one time. I disciplined that one kid for doing something that I thought, like, as you guys said, was really egregious. And it never, ever happened again with her, ever. And now she's somebody that I trust with my life. So like these little tiny steps that we take as coaches for punitive actions, it's amazing that it just takes you one time to say that can't happen. And right. We're talking about like grades and parents and all this other stuff. Really, sometimes all it takes is saying to a kid, no, don't do it. And right. I think that's where we're kind of failing today, right? Like and some administrations are like, well, you can't make some rule on what can and can't happen. I mean, old school, new school, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you've been established, for a number of years now that, those rules or those expectations have always been important. And, Wizard said it best, like it truly is a administration thing. And I've had great administration, and they, when I didn't work in the school system, were great at keeping me informed. And, as he said, it's so minimal, at least on the girls' side, of kids that don't get good grades. They really do pride themselves. And I don't think I've ever had to really discipline, but I can honestly say in, 25 years of coaching, not 1 second of one game as a kid stepped on the floor that wasn't passing all their classes. And, I'm never going to change that. And if, a school system says, no, you got to really follow the rule that, they can be on probation. Well, who's coaching the team, and this is what we expect. But, it is different today, and coaches aren't necessarily in the school system and don't see the same information as coaches that are in the school system. But establishing that at the beginning and making that important, and to piggyback off what the professor just said, when parents complain about how you discipline, I've always said this at our parent meeting that we have, and I know we're probably one of the few coaches that still have them, but we really feel it's important to lay out our guidelines for the year, and that when a parent comes up and says, question for you, and you come back with, well, do you remember that meeting in November that we had? What did we say we were going to do? I tell parents, I don't go into your home and tell you how to parent. I don't think it's necessarily right for you to come and tell me how to coach. And part of that is disciplining your kid. You might not discipline them at home. That's your choice. But in the gym, on this team, this is the way things are. And they either like it or really, honestly, the kid doesn't need to play. So
it's tough when you go from a scenario where there's no accountability, and then they come to us where there is accountability. And, quite frankly, sometimes things happen we don't know about, and we don't know about it for a long time till after it's occurred. I mean, lo and behold, sometimes kids don't tell you things.
That's
and, it happens. So, like I said, the accountability side of it, if you come from a situation where there's no accountability and you basically do whatever you want, the inmates running the asylum per se, I think it's tough to implement that accountability. And sometimes it takes more than just a couple of practices or a couple of punitive running actions.
Yeah, I think we brought this topic up, but we're three fairly old school coaches and three fairly successful coaches. And I go to these meetings, or I used to, and you'd hear about all the troubles and the difficulties. And I got to say, I just never had that many troubles or difficulties. And I think that's because you bring this kind of reputation of being hard and old school. And I love when all of the former players, they're like, oh, you're like the worst. You're the hardest. You're the meanest. Hey, you want to come to my wedding? They
just want a gift. That's all.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, but for the Wizard and I, we go to plenty of weddings, but we don't have the slush fund, so that they're clearly inviting
here
me
we
because
go.
of the love.
And we don't need a helicopter landing pad to land our vehicle. So
yeah, okay.
So I think the real point of that is like, for you young coaches who are going out there, you don't need to be Bobby Knight when you walk into the gym. It won't last nowadays anyway. But get a hold of your team early. Let them know your expectations and don't waver. Like, don't say you can't do that and then let them do it 10 times. It reminds me of a 3-year-old.
You son of a bitch, you reminded me. So I would urge everybody. Melissa McCarthy has a skit on Saturday Night Live coaching. Google that on YouTube and watch that. It is hilarious.
With the toaster?
With the toaster, and chasing around. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I think just to conclude and wrap that up, because look at that, we're already 34 minutes in. You just said it, Professor, is get young coaches. Best advice is, have a list of guidelines and really they're non-negotiables to, like you say, don't tell them they can't do something and then let your star player or your best player do it, because the other kids are going to notice, and then they're going to think it's okay, and then you discipline them, and then you have two sets of standards, which is never going to work. But one of the things that I did early on in my career was sit down with administration and said, these are my my expectations as a coach, and make sure you got the support, because in today's age, they'll find any reason to not want you to coach. They get a couple parent complaints, and it's just easier to move on from the coach than, help them or deal with them. And like I said, I've been spoiled for all the years where I've had great ADs and great, administration at the schools to support. But yeah, be consistent. Yeah, you got something stuck?
Yeah. I had a bug in my throat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think other than Professor, you and I have both had great administration, in the years that we coach. So he doesn't know what that's like yet. So maybe.
Oh, I do. I mean, I had some pretty good athletic directors. I unfortunately for me, I'm the LeBron James of this group, where I've been at 3 different schools to
Said
coach.
it again.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. So I have had some great ADs along the way. And for that same reason, they understand what my values are and they support those values. But with that said, one of my ADs was also military, so.
Yeah. No, you won a championship at the first school. You should have just stuck it out, but.
Well, yeah, except I moved an hour and 20 minutes away.
I know. All right. So anything else before we go to the GOAT debate?
No, sir.
Oh,
no, we got to remember we're working really hard on
40
getting
minutes.
out of here.
Yep. All right. So this week's GOAT debate was my pick. I won't preface, how I came up with the topic. But the greatest major league pitcher of all time. And so I'm going to, think of this as Professor started on one of our first few episodes of doing the GOAT debate, is if I was starting a team today mentality. And I'll just, I'll say he's not my pick, but Roger Clemens deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Nobody can determine who did what during that era or whatever, but even before that said era, he was a dominant pitcher. And obviously a big Red Sox fan here. Put him in the Hall of Fame. But my pick, just because it was phenomenal to watch, and his career wasn't as long as some of the others, like Nolan Ryan was at like 27 years, and still punching batters that charged the mound. But Pedro Martinez, best pitcher I ever saw pitch. But I was torn between him and Greg Maddux, because Greg Maddux was literally
Are you just going to carpet bomb every pitcher and that?
Yep, I might.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. No, I'm just saying, like, Maddux was like the professor on the mound. He was smarter than everybody else.
Do you want to mention anybody else?
I was thinking, we could go to the big unit and Randy Johnson.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hey, but think about this, like, the Atlanta Braves, they're 4 of their starting pitchers back in the 90s, Glavine, Smoltz, Maddux, and Avery, and they never won a World Series.
No
hitting?
I don't think they did. Sorry, maybe they won one, but
I think they did.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. But they went to like 4 straight NL Championship Series, or 4 straight. I can't remember. Anyways, that's a bad segue over to the Wizard.
Hey, wait a second, Wizard.
I love this. This is live and there's no editing.
Yeah, Wizard, is this going to be the greatest of the Wizards' time, like that last one was the greatest? We're going to switch it to the.
I'm not going to carpet bomb the NFL. I mean the Major League Baseball with.
Are we doing the gaunt from here on out? The greatest of Mag's time?
Yeah, no, it's not going to be in Mag's time, I'm sure.
Hey, I knew it wouldn't be.
But anyways.
Yeah, I followed your advice of if I was starting a team today. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if I'm starting a team today, I want somebody who can eat up some innings. But, I thought of Nolan Ryan, and I thought of players that I watched on TV, Tom Seaver, Ron Guidry, things of that nature. But I went way back in 1884.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
This player
This is pre-LeBron times.
Yeah. Well, anyways, he had 59 wins. He had 73 complete games in one season. He pitched 678 innings in that season. And he had an .831 winning percentage. My player of all time is Old Hoss Radbourn.
That's it's so funny because I was doing all the research too, and I was like, I listened to my dad forever. That's such a good pick. I mean, like Cy Young should be there too, right? Because we named the pitching.
I didn't want to venture into that realm.
No, instead you went back pre-1900.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they played baseball with a rock and a stick.
Yeah, well, probably pretty close. A rock wrapped in yarn or something.
No wonder he had so many complete games. And
hey, you know what? In the era of today, we would never see 73 complete games.
No.
But so yeah, no, that's Old Hoss Radbourn is my pitcher that I want to start my team with.
Okay.
The ultimate of the greatest of all time, right? I mean, we're going back. I had to decide, going with my normal, who would I draft first? And I decided instead, who would I not want to face if I was hitting? And Randy Johnson has to be way up there. But I had to go back to my dad constantly talking to me about baseball, and Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax, and they pitched kind of in that same time. Bob Gibson actually pitched 3 complete games in one World Series. That is phenomenal. But I'm going to pick, even though his career was really short, I'm going to pick Sandy Koufax. If he had pitched the same number of innings that Nolan Ryan had pitched, he'd have more strikeouts. He was a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. 3-time unanimous Cy Young Award winner when the Cy Young was only given to one player, not the American and National League. Go look him up. He pitched 4 no-hitters. Nolan Ryan's only got more because he pitched 3 times longer than Koufax. So my pick is Sandy Koufax.
Nice.
Look at that. We picked somebody before the 1900s, somebody in the 1900s, and then somebody in the 2000s.
Yeah, somebody 2024.
No. Come on. Jeez.
Wizard, it's so hard to educate the young.
The shit that I take on a weekly basis, I can't believe I still do this.
But what the button, don't give a shit button, what I was going to talk about initially was LeBron James going to the Sixers. I don't know if Buddy is happy about it or not, but I can tell you one thing. I don't give a shit. I'm sick of hearing about him and what he wants to do and what he's gonna do and all this stuff. When's the last time he won a championship?
Well,
Max has got both of his burned hands in the air right now going, amen, Wizard. Amen.
I mean, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about him.
Yeah, I mean, the dragging it out and, like, the decision, like, who gives a shit? Like, you want to be the quote-unquote greatest of all time. Well, you're the greatest team jumper of all time that, you think you would have survived in the 90s. You wouldn't have. But anyways, LaFlop is moving on.
And Michael would never have done this. And
never.
I dare say neither would Kobe.
Nope.
You're 100% correct.
Right. And I grew up loving Dr. J. Man, I just loved Dr. J. And because of that, the Sixers. And yesterday I said, well, not that I watch the NBA much anymore because I can't stand it, but no more Sixers for me. Not until he's gone.
Yep.
I remember Andrew Toney.
Yep. All these great names that it's tough.
Yep. Nope. All I kept saying was, he better not come to the Celtics because I would have been extremely disappointed.
What a shit show that would have been.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, we did it. We did it, guys.
Yep. We're almost under 45.
Yeah, we could have gotten this one down a little bit more.
I can't cut him off. So what's the words of wisdom from the Wizard this week?
I pondered all of the things that I had spoke of, and I was again relaying it back to don't give a shit. And so the point that I'm going to bring up is, don't be afraid to turn off the TV. Don't be afraid to turn off that crap that they're shoving down your throat. That if you don't want to watch it and you're sick of listening to it, I got rid of TV a while ago, and now we basically listen to podcasts or we watch gardening shows or something of that nature when we sit down. Don't be afraid to turn it off because, like I said, I don't care about LeBron and I don't watch it. So
now we know why we got so many listens. The Wizard and the wife re-listen every evening.
So I can assure you she has not.
She's a smart lady.
She's gotten a dose of us on a regular basis, and she knows we're idiots. So,
well, hey, we're good at something. Well, as we close out, I will say between YouTube and the Podbean, we have surpassed 500 views. So who would have thunk it? And I don't care if it's two people, they've watched 250 times.
Right. We're entertaining at least two people.
Well, that's right. And the whole point of this was fun. It wasn't about notoriety. And we're still working on the closing segment of the podcast. The company is aware that the last 5 seconds are being cut off for whatever reason. So,
oh, good. Then I can finish it and it'll all get cut off.
Yeah,
I don't usually have anything to say, but where the Wizard always gets to sign off, I got a great quote. Oh, first of all, we really do need to thank the Caledonia Record for, putting us out there.
Absolutely.
But second, from the Wizard's favorite movie of all time, some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they? That's the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz.
What an awesome movie.
Yeah. Maybe you guys each will get, a closing segment here because.
No, I don't really want one, but I just needed to have that one. I saw that quote the other day and I was like, oh man, is that perfect for our podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, conclusion number 10 of Coaches and Coffee. We're in double digits, believe it or not. So signing off.